neighborhood officer friendly. Marketing. Why has the police department need a strong marketing campaign to reassure the public about their image? Why do they need this in the first place if those bastards are noble? If nobility does not require a marketing campaign. But the reality is, particularly for black folk, this has often been a very different, the image of the police departments have been very different for us. Now, let's talk about the misleading reality behind the slogan, okay? For black people in the United States, the idea that the police are here to protect and serve doesn't necessarily match our lived experiences. Historically, law enforcement has played a role that is more about abuse and humiliation than about protecting and serving. And as I just discussed before, modern policing in the United States has its roots in slavery, meaning the first organized law enforcement agency was something deemed to be called the Slave Patrol, which was designed to abuse, humiliate black people, and maintain the system of slavery. This shit didn't just disappear after slavery ended. It evolved like the enforcement of Jim Crow laws, and more recently, the war on drugs, or New York stop and frisk, or and which all of those things disproportionately targeted black men. They were actually designed to target black men. So let me tell you something, Rudy Giuliani, go fuck yourself. I hope you choke on a chicken bone and die. I really do. Now, let me tell you something about some of the civil rights leaders, like Dr. Martin Luther King. He was keenly aware of the disconnect between the idea of the protect and serve and the reality that blacks were facing. In his letter from the Birmingham jail, Martin Luther King, he criticized the police for their role as law enforcement officers, for how they enforced unjust laws and maintained the status quo system of brutality against blacks. King and people of his era experiences and observations, they highlighted how the police were often more concerned with maintaining dominance in a way that protected the privilege of themselves and white folk rather than serving everybody. Remember, there was a Dr. Martin Luther King was said to have said that I fear I am integrating my people into a burning building. Dr. King apparently expressed this sentiment during a conversation that he had with Harry Belafonte in probably during the last years of his life, before he was assassinated. And unfortunately, this statement wasn't part of a public speech that King gave, but what he really thought privately, that he feared that before he was assassinated, he started to understand that he probably led his people, this integration thing that he did, into a burning building. But let me tell you something. This is the very ideal that caused beef between him and Malcolm X. Malcolm X railed against what King was doing. Now, the disconnect between the slogan and reality is why many black people, especially blacks, see this whole protect and serve as laughable. It promised safety, fairness, but the police have been the source of danger and life-ending harm when it comes to black folks. And when black people are disproportionately stopped, searched, arrested, and killed by the police, it's hard to see the service in that. And when they take these actions and they are unjustified and they justify them under the guise of protection, it often feels like police are protecting the interest of themselves at the expense of black bodies. That's how I feel about it. For me, protect and serve is the marketing con of the century. It's a con. This is why I call it a con, because like any good marketing slogan, protect and serve was designed to create a certain perception to sell an idea. And that idea was that police are somehow benevolent. And the fucking culture has embraced it, ate it up. I wouldn't care so much if the white dominant culture embraced it and ate it up that the police are so benevolent, but we got a portion of black folk who believe that. These lost souls, I don't know what the hell to say about these poor lost souls who believe that, especially since a lot of them have been at the have suffered at their hands. Now, the protectors of all citizens helps to maintain public perception of trust in law enforcement, even when the actions of the officers in the department fail. It's a slogan that is easy to believe if you haven't personally experienced the dark, brutal, evil side of policing. But for those of you who have, especially black folk, this slogan, protect and serve, is a cruel joke. And they are laughing and playing in your face. It's a promise that has been broken over and over and over again. If you don't believe me, go ask Sonia Macy's family. If you don't believe me, go ask their family. This is why so many activists and civil rights leaders have called for a rethinking of how we understand and implement public safety, rather than relying on a system that historically targets and harms blacks. You know, I mentioned Malcolm X a little while ago. He spoke openly about the role of police in maintaining oppression, and he famously said, we as a people are nonviolent. We are nonviolent with people who are nonviolent with us. Let me say that again. Malcolm said, we as a people, we are nonviolent with people who are nonviolent with us. Do I need to break that down for you guys to tell you what that actually means? It means we don't believe. Malcolm's message was, I don't believe in turning the other cheek. I don't believe in singing We Shall Overcome. That slogan highlighted and emphasized and was a mantra that the Black Panther Party used, and highlighted the need for self-defense in the face of police violence. That's, you goddamn right. The Black Panther Party, Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party, they all believed that there should be a self-defense against the actions of the police. It's because the police and their protect and serve is the biggest con ever pulled on America. It is absolutely a con.
Now with breaking news overnight in the shooting death of Jonathan Price, a black man who was killed while trying to break up a domestic dispute. The police officer has now been charged with murder, and Marcus Moore is in Wolf City, Texas with the story. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, George, good morning. That arrest came just hours after people took to the streets of this small Texas town demanding justice. You can see the memorial here. Jonathan Price, an admired member of this community, shot and killed at this convenience store.
This morning, Wolf City police officer Sean David Lucas charged with murder in the death of Jonathan Price.
Oh, Lord. Ain't my son. Oh, my baby.
Price, a 31-year-old city employee, was killed in this convenience store parking lot after witnesses say he was trying to defuse a heated argument between a couple inside the store.
3 gunshots went off, and I turned and looked at them, and I said, a cop just shot somebody.
According to the Texas Rangers, which is handling the investigation, when Officer Lucas arrived, Price walked away in, quote, a non-threatening posture. The Rangers say Lucas then tasered Price before shooting and killing him. Adding the preliminary investigation indicates the actions of Officer Lucas were not objectively reasonable. Price was a beloved pillar of the community who worked with and coached children and had a personal training business. Overnight, more than 100 people showing up to honor Jonathan's life outside the gas station where he was killed, locking hands and wearing masks.
Black people aren't making it up. We're not playing a race card. There is a problem.
The officer's bond was set at $1 million, and there's still a lot we don't know about what happened in this parking lot. Price's family, though, demanding the officer be arrested. And, Michael, that's exactly what happened overnight.